the chat. We got our fantasy football league players in the chat on TikTok. Oh, by the way, guess what time it is? It is 10:30 a.m. It's time to talk a little NFL. We'll preview in week 14. How is everyone doing on this cold and somewhat dreary Sunday here in Texas, man? It's a little chilly for my taste, but again, it is December. What should you expect? I hope everybody's having a good weekend. I am Kendrick, the sports guy. Good Sunday to you. Make sure you come in. You know the rules at Club Kendrick. Come in, hit that like button, comment. Let me know where you're watching from. Share this to your social media platforms if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. That's TFG Sports Media right here on YouTube, as well as Kendrick Sports Hustle. That's SportzHustle. Make sure you follow them both as well on Facebook. You can also follow me on Instagram at KDrick1969. And I am live right now on TikTok as well. You can follow me over there, Kendrick Henderson 51. And we got some people in the chat. Luke Garcia already. Thanks for popping in. Trevor Jones, I'm sorry. Thanks for popping in. And they already talking fantasy football. I let them do that, and I give my insight about that. Luke says, how do you feel about sitting Tyreek Hill for Nick Westbrook? I'm going to let them talk about that. But we're going to get down to business. And guess what? I got the general manager of Club Kendrick in the house, my good brother, sports director at KOTV, the ABC affiliate in Tyler, Texas, Michael E. Coleman. MC, how you doing, brother?
Hey, man, and as Fred would say, the E stands for everlasting.
I know that's right. Good to have you with me, as always, my good brother. How's your weekend going?
It's going well. I work on weekends, but my weekend is Monday and Tuesday, but extra 2 days because mom's coming to town. So if y'all ain't acting right, mom's coming to town. Let y'all know y'all better get on the stick.
I know that's right. Miss Coleman, we can't wait for you to get in East Texas. So you that East Texas hospitality. And first and foremost, get taken care of by your baby boy. That's most important, Baba Coleman. So anyway, Mike, let's go ahead and jump into this thing. We in week 14 NFL. It's getting down to the nitty gritty. Oh, before we do that, I want to tell you, Mike, you went 5-1 last week with your picks.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, we'll talk more about that. I just wanted to give you that. Okay. I went 500, unfortunately, but you went 5-1. Okay. But we're gonna jump into this thing. We got a couple of early games that's going to be popping off. One of the games I want us to talk about, Mike, is the 3-9 Browns at the 9-3 Steelers, and we're talking the big AFC North division. And that is, by the way, that division is being featured on HBO's Hard Knocks in season.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. The first episode aired last Tuesday, by the way.
Okay, I'll find it.
Don't know, AFC North is being featured on this in-season edition of HBO Hard Knocks. But let's talk about the Browns at the Steelers. The Browns, Jameis Winston. I got to talk about the good brother Jameis because I do a segment called They Said What? And I go find some funny sound bites or some funny quotes or something. And he's already been featured in 2 of my segments, which I find quite hilarious. But I got to give the brother props, man. He's actually playing some good football until he has to be delivered from those INTs, and that's what he said in the soundbite. Mike, what's your thoughts on this Browns at Steelers game coming up at noon?
Well, Pittsburgh. They're in Pittsburgh. They're looking out for some revenge because they could already be at the 10-win mark were it not for the Cleveland Browns, based on them doing what they were doing up till now. As for Jameis Winston, I love his talent in college. I remember the lobster run he made.
Right.
He's just a goofy dude, though, but he can play. He's goofy, but he can play. And, I know he had the post-game comments about the Lord and this and that. And I guess he thought if I talk that way, they can't criticize me. Wrong. But you just keep on bringing the hits. I think Pittsburgh's on their game, man. I mean, Mike Tomlin, which is hard to believe. This dude has never had a losing season. Mm-hmm. But the bigger headline is he's never been coach of the year. Never.
You kidding? He's never won coach of the year?
He's never won coach of the year. And that was I saw a commentator bring it up a couple of weeks ago. I said, wow, that's a stat right there.
Right.
Granted, he's won 1 Super Bowl, but still, I mean, what's his name? Stefanski. He won coach of the year last year or 2 years ago. And he just barely wins or gets to he gets it from going to the playoffs, But no, I think Pittsburgh, they're on track, man, and I like what he's done. with Russell Wilson. I don't even think he made over Russell Wilson. I just think he let Russell be Russell and let him cook. And I'm really happy for the resurgence. I mean, I think he should be the leading candidate for comeback player of the year.
Comeback player of the year, yeah. And you know, it's funny. I never thought when you mentioning that. I think he's definitely one of the candidates. And you made a key point. He's letting Russell be Russell, man. And I think sometimes just certain relationships just don't work. Let's be honest with you. Well, that Sean Payton and Russell Wilson relationship just wasn't going to work.
Payton was so strident. He was too forceful.
Yeah.
And I don't care how great of an athlete you are, if you have a distraction, if you have somebody that's just bugging you, I'm old enough to remember when O.J. Simpson got to the Buffalo Bills. He wasn't the O.J. that he would eventually become in the NFL because the coach that had him wasn't using him right.
Yeah,
and everything. And I remember, O.J., what happened to O.J.? Then they got the new coach, Lou Saban. Yeah, he found a way to use O.J. and the rest is history.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So again, I think the Steelers now they are in control of that AFC North division due to the Ravens losing to the Eagles. But again, this division is going to come down to it's going to be between the Ravens and the Steelers at the end of the day. As far as the Browns, I think they're in a position where they got to figure out what they're going to do with Deshaun Watson. I think that's the bigger issue. I think Jameis Winston have came in and played really well.
No, he has.
I even said that I think his career may be resurrected. I kind of followed up on his, the Lord need to help me with my interceptions. I said, well, maybe the Lord has resurrected his career too, except he just hadn't figured out how to quit throwing on pick sixes. But I mean, so your thoughts on the Browns in this game today? Do you think they even have a shot of beating the Steelers?
Well, they have a shot. One reason because it's a divisional game. They have a shot because they beat them the last time out. And they have a shot because it's Sunday, and of course the old mantra on any given Sunday. Right. But I just think the Steelers, I think they'll handle business. And I know we'll do picks later, but they got a shot. But I don't see them prevailing. I don't see them sweeping the Steelers.
Got you. So again, that's one of the best AFC North big game that's coming up. Let's also talk about another big game for the Minnesota Vikings, and actually a homecoming for Kirk Cousins. That Falcons 6-6 are at the Vikings 10-2. Packers took that L on Thursday night in a great game. Unfortunately, now all we can do is hopefully somebody beat them Lions. But right now, we're playing for a wild card position. But we got the Vikings hosting the Falcons 6-6, which most likely they're going to win that NFC South division between the Bucs. What's your thoughts on this matchup, Mike?
I think Cousins is kind of fading a little bit. He's not the game he had, at the beginning of the season where he was strong. We thought, wow, they're going to really do something. Lately, or the last couple of weeks, he hasn't been as strong. And Minnesota's on a roll. I mean, that's the irony of this whole thing. The big irony is you get rid of Kirk Cousins, or Kirk Cousins leaves. They never get rid of him. He left for greener pastures, I guess. And then, of all people, Sam Darnold comes in and does what he does. It's kind of like he's reminiscent of what Russell Wilson's doing. But I think Sam Darnold had a lesser playing career because he hasn't been in the league as long. But he was a bust in New York. But guess who else is a bust at quarterback in New York right now, right? It might be the atmosphere there.
Right.
And I know he went to the Panthers for a minute. But I know O'Donnell, his coach, gets a lot of credit for being an offensive-minded quarterback guru. So he has really fixed this guy up to be auditioning because McCarthy's going to get that job, the backup who's the rookie who they drafted who got hurt. So I just think Sam Darnold's playing his best ball, and we won't see him in a Vikings uniform next year.
Yeah, and I agree with you on that as well, Mike. So again, Falcons 6-6. They trying to kind of keep pace with the Buccaneers in the NFC South. The Vikings, they trying to keep pace with the Detroit Lions in the NFC North. They really don't have any room for error as far as losses, as far as the Vikings, if they want to try to win the NFC North division. Now let's talk about your Chiefs, Mike. You got the 8-4 Chargers at the 11-1 Chiefs in that AFC West division. And the Chiefs, I see you, Mike. Yeah, MC got his Patrick Mahomes, my homie, down up. I see you, my homie. And God dog it, if this team isn't the luckiest team in the last 5 years, I don't know what team is. Mike, your thoughts on this big AFC West matchup between? Can you turn down your volume a little bit, Mike?
Yeah, let me. I was wondering if you could hear
TV.
that.
Yeah,
I got Roland Martin on. Y'all
okay.
know Roland Martin.
Yeah,
is.
that's my dude. Yeah, but yeah, your thoughts on this matchup? Chargers 8-4 at your Chiefs 11-1.
Well, I think a win today is like the 10th year in a row they've won the AFC West. Mm-hmm. I was there for the first 3 years of the 10-year stretch. That's the pre Patrick Mahomes, actually. Chargers do kind of concern me a little bit because Harbaugh is kind of working his magic. I just think deep they got the left side of the offensive line, the sacks that Mahomes is taking, which is forcing him to hold on. Yeah, which is forcing him to hold on to that ball too long. Because usually he gets that ball out. Yeah. You know, he knows how to buy time. There's no doubt he knows how to buy time. And I saw an article that he and the young rookie Xavier Worthy the chemistry isn't really there, and I don't know what that means. Right. You know, because Mahomes didn't say that. It's a writer, and they're trying to clickbait and all that. Right. But I think the defense needs to get to where they were last year, because because defense is what did it for them last year. Chris Jones and that whole and the linebacker from Missouri, Belton, I believe is his name. I just think they need to just hunker down a little bit harder, a little bit stronger. And the one thing about the Chiefs, they've never been pat with their roster. They've been interchanging and bringing people on board throughout the whole season.
A whole season. Yeah, they don't stand pat. You're right.
Yeah, they bring people in and out. So at least they're being proactive and not reactive in terms of who they bring in to work out. Now I heard McCole Hardman is I don't think he's playing today. I think he's not. I heard that last night. Okay. But Pacheco's back. And I think you got to get Pacheco heated early in the game. You know, his running style reminds me of the fun to watch Marion Barber, the late Marion Barber.
Yeah.
The Cowboy.
Yeah, Marion the Barbarian.
Yeah, but just a violent runner, you know. Right. So you got to get him involved early, and you've got to establish the trenches in the offensive line. You've got to establish that you got to be, because Chiefs have never been known for being a physical team when it comes to offense. It's always been finesse,
right?
You know, and gadgets and this and that. And maybe that was to disguise what you weren't. But sometimes you got to play football.
Yeah,
you just got to play. It's like last year in the Super Bowl. You know, when San Francisco did that trick play late in the first half, I was like, okay, now you got to play football since you brought out your magic this early. You know, now you got to play football the rest of the way, and you weren't having success doing that early. And that's what I noticed about them. And I think the Chiefs are slowly creeping in that direction of trying to deceive and be deceptive. Just play football, line them up and run at them and go get it. So that's what I want to see them do today, because I don't see the Chargers being able to withstand being punished. And from the physical aspect of the game, and that's what I want to see from the Chiefs today.
And you know the thing I would say about this game, I want to thank everybody for watching on TikTok. I see you number one Cowboys fan, Tyreek or DeAndre at Flex. I would go with Tyreek. We'll see what he do with them Dolphins. I would say this. I think Justin Herbert, I don't know. The Chargers offensively doesn't have, I would say, any weapons that actually scare you. But again, Harbaugh is working his magic with that team. I mean, they sitting at 8-4. It's quiet 8-4 in my opinion. But I think this is the only team in that division I think that can put a little scared. Just a little bit.
Now I know Eckler. I don't think Eckler's playing today. I like.
Eckler's gone. He's in Washington.
Who's that back they have?
I forgot the name of the back. Yeah, Eckler is in Washington.
That's right. He is in Washington. They got a running back that's not playing. I can't remember who he is. But see, that goes to what you just said. A quiet 8-4. They're not making a lot of noise about what they're doing with their record. and I'm embarrassed to forgot that Eckler's not there, but their running back they had. But like I said, you have to show the physical aspect of your game the rest of the way for the
Right.
they play Pittsburgh later on this year, and
that's going to be what it's going to be.
It's going to be crazy.
Yeah. Okay. So there you have it. With that, we're going to give our picks in a little bit. Last game we're talking about Monday night. Bengals 4-8. Talking about the AFC North at the Cowboys 5-7. They feel a little bit more confident now, Mike. They done won 2 in a row. I was just reading a day or so ago that both Micah Parsons and Dak Prescott have definitely given they want their coach back, Mike McCarthy, who we know this is his last year of his deal. But the Bengals, man, that offense can score and they can score in bunches. I think this may be the end of that 2-game losing streak for the Cowboys, Mike. Your thoughts on this matchup?
Cowboys will have a hard time with a healthy Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
Let alone with Cooper Rush, he's fitting the bill, But you're right. I mean, Joe Burrow, because Joe been playing.
He been balling.
Joe is the Bengals record is not because of Joe Burrow.
Right.
And so I just think they're gonna put points on the board tomorrow night, and the only upside of that is the Cowboys don't have to fly back home. They can just get in their cars and go back home.
They get their car and go back home. What's up? Go Everett Patterson said, "Go Cowboys!" And y'all can get your car and go back home. And then somebody, my man said, "How about them Lions?" Man, I know about them damn Lions. I already talked about them. Y'all always in here getting at me about them damn Lions. I'm sick of them Cubs.
They are some damn lions.
They are some damn lions.
They are some damn lions. They ain't cowardly like the one in the Wizard of Oz.
Hey, them lions got some heart. They got some courage. They got some courage. I get it.
Put them up.
Everett Patterson says, "Who do you like better, the Eagles or Cowboys?" Far as in that division, it's hands down as the Eagles. I mean, we're talking about this year. It's the Eagles. I mean, that's no given. Just because the Cowboys had a lot of injury problems, and even prior to that going out, there was still some issues offensively.
Yeah.
As far as the Eagles, they're playing their best football right now. I mean, hell, they coming off that big win over the Ravens. I mean, damn. I mean, Saquon Barkley, you and I talked about this last week, Mike. Yeah. Hell, he may be the MVP. He's definitely the leader.
He sneaked in.
You're right.
He definitely sneaked in.
So that's my thoughts, Everett, on the Eagles or the Cowboys. He said, I respect it. Everett's a Cowboys fan. I respect you for watching. Make sure you hit that follow button, share this live. All right, Mike, let's get down to our NFL news and notes real quick. This segment, I just want to give you heads up on some things that's happening. Oh, by the way, Mike, I definitely want to get your opinion on this. We'll talk about this in a second, but I want to give some game notes. Nick Bosa and Longview's own Trent Williams will not play today versus the Bears. They both are out. We already know the 49ers have had injury after injury. We know McCaffrey is done for the season, but those two are out versus the Bears as well. And then, Mike, 6-time Super Bowl winning head coach Bill Belichick interviewed for the North Carolina Tar Heels job. Not only once, but twice. What's your thoughts?
I don't know what to think about that. I really don't. I mean, I guess it's good, but I think Bill, he really wants to coach. And I'm kind of surprised he wouldn't wait to get a job in the NFL. I just don't think he can. I just don't think he'll work with young kids. I just don't. Because look at the number of rookies that have a hard time with Bill.
Right.
When he was with the Patriots, and we all know he's a good coach. But being good at your job, it's all about placement too.
Right.
He wasn't. I mean, he didn't start off being a good coach because he was in Cleveland.
Right.
Turned down the Jets job. They were wound up in New England, and there was a good fit because of the personnel he had. Right. Mac Brown, who I've had a chance to work around and work with from time to time back in the day in Austin, he knows how to get to young kids. He's that coach. Oh, yeah. He's that guy.
You know what, Mike, not to interrupt you. I remember when you and I, if you remember this, we remember our former owner of the television station, KOTV,
Yes.
Frank Melton. You remember
Yeah.
when they were recruiting his son, Matthew,
Yep.
and you and I actually went and interviewed Mac Brown
Yeah.
at their home. And I would say Mac Brown is the guy that could recruit. He could sell you some dirty draws. I'm going to be honest with you. He could sell you some dirty draws. And I'm being honest about that.
No,
and that's
you're
the
right.
part that I'm with you, Mike. I don't think Bill Parcells' personality doesn't speak to recruiting 17, 18, and 19-year-olds, especially now that you also got NIL money involved. I don't see him wanting to deal with that.
Well, and that's just it, because if you're a kid and you think, if I say a kid, if you're a 17, 18-year-old young man, when you think New England, you ain't thinking Bill Belichick.
Yeah, you think of Tom Brady. Yeah, true that.
Brady.
Yeah,
yeah. So I hope the brass at North Carolina don't hire him if he were to get hired for the wrong reasons.
Right. Because so I wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, because just as much as you could hire him because you think he'll give you more name recognition, NC don't need name recognition. But whatever love you think's coming your way, also understand the hate ain't gonna be too far behind if things don't go right.
There
you set the program back.
Got that right. So there you have it. There was some of our NFL news and notes. All right, Mike, we're gonna go ahead and do our pick six, and then we're gonna talk about that quarterback slide controversy. But let's go ahead and get our pick six in. Just to give you a heads up, Mike, you did go 5-1 last week. I went 3-3, and you had a hell of a. The only one you missed was the Ravens game. You picked the Ravens.
Yeah, right. Okay.
And I think everybody probably missed that because I picked the Ravens too. That's the only game you missed. So now let's go ahead and start with this pick six, week 14. Again, we got the Falcons 6-6 at the Vikings 10-2. It's a homecoming for Kirk Cousins. He's had a couple of bad outings. He's thrown a couple of INTs. I think he needs to be delivered to, just like Jameis Winston for them INTs. Mike, who you got? Falcons 6-6 at the Vikings 10-2.
Well, let me give you my synopsis first. First of all, the defensive coordinator from Minnesota, I always forget his name. He used to be with Miami.
Brian Flores.
He knows Kirk Cousins' weaknesses. He knows his weakness. He knows the intel on that guy. They're going to have to rely a lot on Bijan Robinson. I love this kid, the Texas kid. And they're going to have to rely a lot on him, and don't force the passing game. And because you're not going to have a choice, because the defensive coordinator is not going to let you just throw all over the field. You're going to beat us. You're going to throw the ball, and you got to show how you can run. So I got Minnesota winning this game, man. It's not going to be pretty. I don't think it'll be pretty. I'm going to go 31-21.
Okay, Mike. Got the Vikings 31-21, and I also have the Vikings 27-17. All right, 3-9 Browns at the 93 Steelers. The Steelers seem like they rounding into form. They're getting ready for playoff football. The Browns are just, they steady plugging along. Mike, who you got in this AFC North Division showdown?
I got Pittsburgh. I think Russell's going to continue to ascend. The defense, Bosa, he's crazy, man. That dude he's better than his brother.
You talking about Watt? You talking about TJ Watt?
He's better than his brother.
Yeah, right.
He's better than his brother. So I'm gonna go Pittsburgh. 27-16. Pittsburgh wins.
Mike got the Steelers, steel curtain 27-16. I got the Steelers as well, 28-13. All right. AFC West showdown. I'm sorry, NFC West showdown. This is for first place in that division. We got the 7-5 Seahawks at the 6-6 Cardinals. Mike, who you got?
Wow, I'm gonna go with the Seahawks. I don't think I've ever chosen the Cardinals to win a game before, and it's not going to start today.
Okay.
I'm gonna go. It's going to be a tight game. I'm going to go 17-10 Seattle.
Mike is going 17-10 for the Hawks. I'm going the opposite. I'm going with those birds, the Cardinals, 24-20. So we'll see what happens with that. All right, we got the 10-2 Bills at the 6-6 LA Rams. The Bills are quietly playing some good football too. The Rams are trying to round in the form, but they still in the hunt for that NFC West division. But again, it's Josh Allen and crew. Mike, who you got? Bills at Rams.
Well, the snow ain't gonna help Buffalo today. All
No,
right,
it ain't.
they
No.
in Los Angeles. I'm
Right.
gonna go with the Rams. That's my upset special of the day. I'm gonna go with the Rams. I'm gonna go. Oh shoot, 24-14.
Okay, Mike, good
24-14.
upset. The Rams 24, the Bills 14. I'm going with the Bills. I still think they're gonna keep rolling. I'm going with the Bills 31-17.
Okay.
All right, we're going to your team, going to your division. AFC West, Chargers 8-4 at the Chiefs 11-1. And here comes my homie. Here comes my homie.
Mahomes says, I'm only gonna get sacked twice today. I'm throwing for 3 touchdown passes, and my defense gonna force a turnover, give me some short territory. I'm going 27-10. Kansas City.
27-10. My homie says through his interpreter, who was that with the puppet? Willie and what was it?
Willie, the ventriloquist,
yeah, with the ventriloquist Michael. He says Chiefs 27-10. I'm going with another close one. I think the Chiefs are going to find a way to win this game again. I'm going with the Chiefs 23-20. Now, our Monday night game again, Bengals 4-8 at the Cowboys 5-7. That Bengals offense, again, Joe Burrow, he's putting up numbers. Cowboys playing with a little bit more confidence, but Mike, who you got in this one?
Yeah, and they are playing with more confidence, but you can have confidence, but you can also lack bodies. And like Zach Martin, I mean, he's really the key to this whole team in terms of having success, and he's injured, talking about retirement and all of that kind of stuff, and I guarantee you the players probably got tired this week of answering questions about Zach.
Right.
I'm gonna go with. I don't think they're gonna stop Joe Burrow. Joe gonna bury the Cowboys.
I'm with you.
I think we're gonna see our homeboy do some good things. I think Micah Parsons is gonna be in the space, but I think eventually they're gonna pull away. I mean, it'll be competitive, but eventually Bengals are gonna pull away. Jamar Chase and those guys, they got too many weapons for the Cowboys to stop. So I'm gonna go 35-17, and the last and 17 is gonna come late. So 35-17, Cincinnati.
Mike is going with the Bengals. Hey, my little sis Nikki is on TikTok watching. I want to thank everybody for watching. Eddie that's just joined, appreciate you popping in. Make sure you tap that screen like this. Make sure you click the follow button. Mike, I'm with you. I think the Bengals going to score some points, and I think Joe Burrow is going to continue on his tear. I'm going with the Bengals 38-14 as well. Now, Mike, we got to talk about the controversy of the week. Last Sunday, Houston Texans, who by the way, the Texans are on a bye. Go Pack, go Braden. I got you. The Texans are on a bye. But last week they played the Jaguars, and Texans linebacker Azeez Al-Shaair put a hit on Jaguars quarterback Trevor Lawrence that drew a flag as well as an ejection from the game. And now it drew a suspension for the linebacker, 3 games without pay. And it's been a bit controversy about this hit, Mike, about the quarterback slide. And I actually had to go to the NFL rule book just to get an understanding of what constitutes a slide and what can a defender do and all that. And if you're watching me on Facebook and on YouTube on TFG Sports Media, in our ticker is the actual rule from the NFL rule book of what is a quarterback slide and what a defender can and can't do. But we're just going to talk about it from our perspective, from looking at the play in fast motion. I got a still photo up. Obviously, photos can kind of manipulate what it is because you're not seeing it in real live action. But again, I got a couple of photos I'm going to show Mike. First of all, I just want to get your thoughts on the quarterback slide. And in this instance, who was right and who was wrong?
I really don't think there's a right and wrong. I think it's about subjectivity.
Mm-hmm.
It's like pass interference or holding. That's what this new phenomenon is becoming, a judgment call.
Right.
And I've seen, Mahomes, my boy, Chiefs are my team, but I've seen him when he's down the sideline act like he's going to go out of bounds, and the defender chasing him will let up, and he's still running.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen that, and I thought I used to think, oh, they don't want to hurt Mahomes because he's the golden goose. But I think if nothing else, it's football etiquette. Okay, he's slowing down. He's about to go out of bounds. I don't want to get a penalty for hitting him out of bounds. I'm gonna slow up, and then turns out then he slows up, and then the runner continues to run. My whole thing is this: if you got the ball and you run across that line of scrimmage, you're a runner.
Yeah,
you are running because running backs don't slide, right?
Right, but according to the rule, if a running back slides, that's giving himself up. I read the rule, Mike. I get what you're saying, but if a running back slides like a quarterback does, that is actually giving himself up. Same thing. It applies.
So you're saying okay? So you say give himself up, like plays dead.
Yeah.
Okay.
If he slides, the player is dead.
Okay, and I agree, but those guys, they're not Matrix. I mean, because he already knows the defender. Once he launches, and the quarterback or the runner decides I'm gonna slide, he can't stop.
Right.
He can't stop. And that's such a tough call, It
is. You said the key at the beginning is subjective. And I would say, according to the rule, the only thing that Al Shaer did wrong, he led with his forearm in the crown of his head.
Yeah,
that's the only thing he did wrong.
You use any parts of your limbs.
Yes.
You can forget about it because he did. And that looks like it's, that's you're adding to it.
Right.
But I'm not sure they wouldn't have called it if he hadn't have done that. But who was that player? Played for the Bengals. Speaking of the Bengals, he was always getting the flag.
That was Vontaze Burdick, I think. Burdick.
Yes.
Vontaze Burdick is his name. Yeah.
Because because at that time he was just laying people, and they didn't really. Eventually they said, "Dude, you got to quit doing this," but he kept doing it. So that's another thing. If he's going to keep doing it and you've been told not to, that's one thing. Right. But I don't know how they're going to fix. I don't think there is a fix for it. I mean, if you're going to slide. This is it. Because when you're out there, you're playing, your mind is on stopping this guy with the ball. Right. And I'm going after him. Now, once you hit and make contact, I don't want to see none of this, or this. I don't see any of that, and that might help your argument. But that's crazy, man.
Let me ask you this, Mike. I've been seeing all these comments in these sports chats that's been laughing. I've been laughing because some said, well, he slid too late or he slid too early. But how can you say when a player slides too early or slide too late? How do you judge that?
Well, if you slide too early, it's like 10 yards before you got to the defender. So you can't do that. You can't, because the object is to get more yards. You slide too late. I don't know how you can slide too late. I don't know how you can do that.
That's the one thing I didn't understand why a lot of people.
Unless you can see the defender and what his aim is
his intent, right?
Yeah, what his intent, but you're not thinking that either. I mean, like
you're not,
because when you're thinking that, it's too late because you get hit. I mean, but that's it's logistically, I don't think that exists. Too early exists.
Yeah,
too early. Why did you slide?
Why did you slide too early when we needed? We needed 3 yards and you started sliding at the 6 yard.
Yeah, right.
Well, now I get that. You slid too early. Yeah, I get that.
I mean, I guess the only way you can slide too late is after you get hit. I should have slid 2 yards ago. I don't know.
Right. But it's like asking what came first, the egg or the chicken.
Right.
I don't know. Right.
And so now that this debate is out there, because I know Micah Parsons has commented on it. And quarterbacks are reading. They're reading and seeing what the other guys in the league are saying. I don't know how that affects their game. I don't think it's going to affect their game.
Right.
I mean, because you're not going to flag the quarterback for doing that.
For doing that, yeah. And we know they are the prize commodity of the league. Yeah. So the league is going to protect them at all costs. So
the golden goose, you're going to protect the golden goose, and so you kind of roll the dice. I mean, maybe it's a situation where if you're winning by 25 points, you just don't need to hit that guy. Just let him go. out of bounds or whatever.
Yeah, Joey on TikTok said it was a good game. I think he was talking about not this game, but a different game. But thanks, Joey, for commenting. Well, by the way, Trevor Lawrence did suffer a concussion from this hit.
Yeah.
He's resting at home, don't know if he's going to play today or not, but he did suffer concussion. As far as Al-Shaair, again, he was suspended 3 games. They did appeal it. They lost the appeal. So he won't be back until week 18 with the Texans. And again, this is his first season with the Texans, but he's been in the league 6 years. He's had some other incidents. He was never suspended, but he's had some other late hits that he's been fined for. But this was his first suspension for this particular hit.
Well, and he's clapping back.
Yeah.
You want to make me the villain? I'll be the villain, dude. Don't be saying that.
Right. Yeah.
You won't get a benefit of a doubt.
Right. Exactly. You putting a target on your back now. Yeah. Not only from the refs for the flags, but the other players. They know what type of, you didn't put that out there. Now you might be bringing the wrong type of energy to you and your team.
No, there's no doubt. No doubt. Referees talk. You know, he saw number so and so. Did you read what he said? Yeah, I read what he said. And he wants to be the villain. Okay, he can be the villain. So it's a delicate situation. Unfortunate for Lawrence, because he did get tapped. He got
tapped. Yeah,
he got tapped. So hopefully, it's not career disruption.
Like a Tua Tagovailoa situation. So hopefully this is not an ongoing thing. All right, Mike, let's get down to our last segment, freestyle moment. You know what time it is. You can get whatever you want to off your chest. Tell me what you got, MZ.
Well, I want to give some love because you always let me talk about the East Texan athletes because you were East Texan athlete yourself. The number of guys that are playing in that played in championship Saturday. I mean, you got or at least on the roster. Derek McFall was SMU.
Right.
CJ Fight from Tatum with Arizona State. I wrote some other names down that were guys who are on rosters. Of course, you got Jamarian Miller from Legacy with Alabama. I mean, you got guy and Fight's brother with the Raging Cajun, Southwest Louisiana. You got a lot of guys who are dotted throughout these playoffs, about to be playoffs, and bowl games that are coming up. And the footprint. I mean, last week was recruiting day, signing day, early signing day. You got Ricky Stewart going to Texas. You got Demetrius Brisbane going to Baylor. You had a kid Tarleton State, Keldrick Davis. You got a kid down the street in Kilgore, Jaden Sanders, who was a tremendous athlete. I think he could be a Travis Hunter. I really do. They got him as a cornerback, but he also plays wide receiver, and we got some great highlights of him doing that. So, Beast Texas lived up to its name like it always does during recruiting time, but not just recruiting time. Well, now when these kids go to college, you see them, they've grown and now becoming an integral part of the teams they're with. And I'm going to do a little quick soundbite tonight. Arthur reminded me, I think I had just left, or maybe I was still here, but back in 2003, Jaden Sanders' father on recruiting day, signing day, signed with TCU. Now you want to feel old? There you go, right there.
Right.
So we'll have some sound tonight of father and son who both went through the process.
Oh, that's awesome.
And Pops gets to talk about how he guided his son, but in the end, it's your decision.
That's awesome, Mike.
I mean, I think out here in East Texas, those of us in the media that want to go after stuff like that, that's out there for the taking. And I try to take as much as I can because I like promoting what we have here in our backyard because it makes my job easy.
Right. And if you want to know, if you want to see all these East Texas athletes and stories, download the KOTV KTRE Red Zone app.
Yeah,
it's free. Go to your store, your whatever your iPhones. Well, I said iPhone because I'm iPhone, Android. Go to your app store and you can download it, and you also can check it out. KOTV.com. Sports. My good brother MC, you can go check out all this stuff there as well.
Let me add this. Last week I talked to former Crockett star Eugene Lockhart.
Yes, you did.
Tonight I'm doing Super Bill out of Palestine. He has a Bill Bradley. He has a
Okay.
book out called Blue Eyed Soul Brother.
Okay.
And this guy went to Texas, had a pretty good career, got drafted in the 3rd round by Philadelphia, had a tremendous career there. He's still tied for interceptions for Philadelphia, the Eagles. He led the league in 71 and in 72 in picks.
Okay.
So guys like this, once they leave and go elsewhere, they don't disappear. They just add to their glory. So tonight, a piece with them that I want you guys to check out. I caught him at the radio station in Palestine earlier this week. So
that's what's up.
That's why I like. Yeah.
Bill Bradley. I'm thinking of the other Bill Bradley that played in the NBA.
Oh, the basketball. Yeah, the NBA.
The
who was
senator.
the politician. The politician.
Yeah. I was like, when you said Bill Bradley, I'm like, wait a minute. Okay. See, I learned something today. I thought there's another Bill Bradley.
Bill Bradley, he got a nickname Super Bill. He played on the 1964 state championship football team that Palestine has yet to duplicate. He was on that team. And real quick aside, the Cowboys told him, Tex Schramm and Gil Brandt saw him and said, we're going to draft you in the 2nd round. They didn't do it. Philly got him in the 3rd round. Okay. And he got a measure of revenge against the Cowboys. And you see the story tonight on how he got that revenge.
And the rest is history. So that was my good brother Mike's freestyle moment. Mine is real quick. College football playoff rankings, I think, just dropped maybe about 15 minutes ago. Are they dropping right now? And I did get an alert that Georgia, I think, is number 2 now.
Sure they are.
They got after that overtime victory over the Texas Longhorns, which I thought the Longhorns outplayed them, especially the first half. I thought the second half the Longhorns just didn't do enough. But
again, all those yards they gained and everything, and they couldn't do anything with it.
Yeah, they didn't do enough. But so now we really get ready to see if this 12-team format really works.
It don't.
Where SMU gets snubbed, that's the big thing.
They will.
Even though they lost on the last-second field goal to Clemson in the ACC.
How about that drive? Oh, that was a drive for the ages, man.
I want to see this college football playoff committee get this thing right.
They're not going to, though.
But I got a feeling, and I said this when we was going to this format. I said, believe me, I think 12 teams is probably enough, but you still gonna have number 13 and 14 gonna feel some type of way. So you ain't gonna never feel. Everybody ain't gonna always be happy. That's just the way it is.
That's what keeps college football alive.
Right.
The debates. Who should have? Who shouldn't have?
Right.
Because college football is crazy. Now I know which one of these games yesterday had a dismal turnout. Big 12 may have been one of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, there's some complaints about, like for instance, Iowa State. That's why.
Yeah, Iowa State and
Arizona State.
Arizona State.
That's why some of these teams. Yeah, some of these teams. The reason why they get picked is because of their following, along with the good record, but because of their following. I know when I worked in Kansas City at the Big 12 basketball tournament, which was held in KC, Iowa State fans flocked.
Yeah.
But how far are they going to go?
Right.
And that's like when the Big 12 tournament in basketball was once held. Well, when it's held in Dallas, I'm told the reason why KC always wins when they pitch for it every other year is because fans will come out to Kansas City to watch basketball, but they don't want to drive to Dallas to watch basketball. And you think about the region. Iowa is next to Kansas. They're going to come to Kansas City.
They're going to come to Kansas City.
But then they're going to drive to Iowa. They're not going to drive to Dallas to watch a Big 12 tournament, a Big 12 championship game like yesterday. So, fans, they're the driving force. And unless in SEC, they follow their fans.
They follow. Yeah. So I'm gonna probably do an update. I'm gonna do my thoughts on that tomorrow, just to kind of see what they do today, and I'll post something on TFG Sports Media as well as Kendrick Sports Hustle here on TikTok. I'll do my thoughts on that. All right, Mike. Before I let you get out of here, we gotta talk about this East Texas teams, man, that's still in this playoffs. How many?
Six.
Take it away. Tell them how many teams we got left and what's happening.
We still have 6 teams who are headed to the state semifinals this Friday. I'm trying to get them off if I can real quick. Of course, Kilgore, who put it on Chapel Hill.
Yeah.
You got Kilgore. You have Longview, who beat the back-to-back
Woo!
chant of DeSoto.
I watched that game on YouTube. Oh my goodness!
And how about
that running back,
Boosie Washington?
What is it? Boosie Washington.
Boosie, his real name is his mom and dad.
Y'all remember
Kelvin Washington's his name, but Boosie is his name.
Remember this name, Kelvin Washington, running back out of Longview, Texas. This young brother is putting up some crazy numbers. Remember that name.
I interviewed him about a month ago. He was the subject of one of our pieces. And I asked him, I said, what do you know about Fred Talley? He said, man, Fred Talley was a dog. I said, are you a dog? He says, no, because I ain't broke no records yet. So then I fast forward to last Thursday. I got a chance to visit with him. I said, last time you and I talked, you said you wasn't a dog like Fred Talley. Are you a dog now? I'm a dog now because I broke some records. So
and he's a big dog now. Yeah, yesterday.
I mean, he just went off. He just went off yesterday, and he's just but he has not announced where he's going to go. He's going to do it on the regular signing day.
Okay, the regular signing day.
So when I asked him, he hesitated answering me. I said, well, you know what? I think you want to keep it a secret, even for me. I don't mind. They say, I'll keep it a secret. That's fine. Right. So he's every bit as good as Tatum Taylor.
Yeah.
They had the 1-2 punch. You just didn't hear about him, but you heard about.
You didn't hear about. So, right.
So
who else we got? Who else we got? Mike.
We got
Kilgore.
Dangerfield got beat, which I'm surprised. Carthage. Malakoff ain't lost a game in 30 outings. Man, that's crazy. They won it all last year. They won 14 this year. They're 30-0.
Wow.
And we have Woodville.
Woodville, that's 5. Okay.
They beat Dangerfield.
Okay.
And there's one more. Oh, did I mention Kilgore?
Yeah, you mentioned Kilgore. Yeah, you already mentioned Kilgore.
That's how many. Okay. There's so many I don't remember, but we're gonna be there.
All right. So again, if you don't know about high school football in Texas, it is king, and it's damn sure king in what they call Beast, Texas, in the region that I, myself, and my good brother, the general manager of Club Kendrick, Michael Coleman, we are residing in. So, Mike, again, appreciate you popping in, brother. We almost at the end of the season. Tell Mama I said hello.
Yes.
You enjoy the time y'all spend together, and we're gonna keep rocking. And tell the wife I said hello too. All right.
I sure will, man. I'll talk to you soon, buddy.
All right, brother. Again, that's my good brother Michael Coleman, the sports director at KOTV, the ABC affiliate in Tyler, Texas. And so again, this has been TFG Sports Show, your NFL game day preview show. I want to thank everybody for popping in. I had a lot of people over here in the chat on TikTok. Theo Hernandez says, I hope Seahawks match up with Packers in playoffs. Easy dub, Unc. I hear you. Another person commented, we need a quarterback like Deshaun Kaiser again. So again, I want to thank you all for watching as well. Now, you can catch me here every Sunday morning, 10:30 a.m., talking NFL pregame show. And then starting in 2025 on Fridays, I will be going live on Fridays on TikTok, talking just sports, what I'm going to call Freestyle Friday. So on Friday, starting in 2025, you can catch me live on TikTok, just talking sports and maybe other things. I see you, Jack. You done went and put your picks all in, bro. You did. Thanks for watching, though, brother. But you put your picks in here that I already saw early, but I appreciate you putting them in here again. So, yeah, if you want to play this Pick 6 game, if you watch this later, you can also put your Pick 6 in the comments. That is on TFG Sports Media, on Facebook as well as YouTube. So, again, this has been, your TFG Sports Media show. We normally go 30 minutes, but I went a little longer because me and my good brother Mike, we like to talk a little bit. So, again, you can catch me here every Sunday morning, 10:30 a.m. Don't forget, starting in January 2025, I will be doing more lives on TikTok, specifically on Fridays, where I call it Freestyle Friday Sports, where we're going to be talking sports, all right? So, again, I hope you all enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I hope you have a great start to your week. I am Kendrick, the sports guy. We will see you on the other side and on the next report. I am out. Peace.